The martial arts demonstration hall in Beijing fell silent. It was September 2017, and traditional martial arts masters from across Asia had gathered at the China Martial Arts Association headquarters for an international cultural exchange summit. When the Philippine delegation introduced their demonstration of Filipino martial arts, Master Lu Chen, China's most respected kung fu master with 50 years of teaching experience and lineage tracing back to Shaolin Temple, let out a dismissive laugh that echoed through the hall. Filipino martial arts, Master Lu said in Mandarin, then switching to accented English for the international audience. You mean stick fighting, Eskrima? He looked at the young Filipino martial artist standing beside the demonstration area with barely concealed amusement. These are basic weapon techniques, not true martial arts. Kung Fu has 3,000 years of documented history, philosophical depth, internal energy cultivation. What do Filipino martial arts have? Stick patterns and knife movements. No internal cultivation, no spiritual dimension, no sophisticated forms, just practical fighting with weapons. The room packed with masters from various Asian traditions: karate from Japan, taekwondo from Korea, silat from Indonesia erupted in murmurs of agreement and uncomfortable silence from some. Master Lu continued, warming to his critique. I have studied martial arts for 50 years. I have mastered 5 animal styles of Kung Fu: tiger, crane, leopard, snake, dragon. Each style requires decades to perfect understanding of chi flow, meditation, philosophical study. What does Eskrima require? Learning to hit with a stick. Several Chinese masters in the room nodded approvingly. Master Lu pointed to a complex Kung Fu form demonstration photo on the wall behind him. This is the dragon form. 108 movements, each with specific breathing, each cultivating different aspects of internal energy. It takes 10 years just to begin understanding this form. Filipino martial arts have nothing comparable in sophistication. Rafael Cortez stood quietly beside the demonstration area, his face calm despite the public dismissal. At 28 years old, he was a third-generation practitioner of Kali, having trained since childhood under his grandfather, a legendary escrimador who had preserved pre-colonial Filipino fighting systems. His instructor, Guru Manuel, a 70-year-old master who had studied under some of the last traditional warriors of Cebu, stood silently observing. Rafael had heard variations of this dismissal many times. That Filipino martial arts were just stick fighting. That they lacked the sophistication of Asian martial arts with their ancient temples and documented lineages. That effectiveness in combat somehow made them less artistic or profound. What Master Lu didn't understand was that he was about to learn something that would challenge 50 years of his martial philosophy. Master Lu, Rafael said respectfully in clear English, would you honor us with a demonstration exchange? You demonstrate Kung Fu's sophistication, and I demonstrate Filipino martial arts principles. Then perhaps we can discuss what defines true martial mastery. Master Lu's expression shifted from amusement to mild irritation. A demonstration exchange between Kung Fu and stick fighting. He looked around at the assembled masters, several of whom seemed curious. Very well, but understand, I will demonstrate the dragon form, one of Kung Fu's most advanced sets. When you see this level of sophistication, Perhaps you will understand the difference between ancient martial arts and practical fighting techniques. The masters rearranged themselves to create a larger demonstration space. Master Lu stepped into the center, and for the next 8 minutes he performed a dragon form. That was genuinely breathtaking. Flowing movements, perfect balance, explosive power transitioning to soft circular motions. Each technique precise and beautiful. The form was undeniably sophisticated, showing decades of dedicated practice. When he finished, the room erupted in respectful applause. Several masters bowed in appreciation. Master Lu returned to his position, barely breathing hard despite the intense form, demonstrating his conditioning. He gestured to Rafael. "Now show us your stick patterns." Rafael stepped into the demonstration space with 2 rattan sticks. Guru Manuel stood quietly at the edge, a slight knowing smile on his weathered face. What happened next shocked everyone in the hall and challenged fundamental assumptions about martial arts sophistication. Rafael didn't perform a choreographed form or demonstrate preset patterns. Instead, he began moving through what appeared to be simple stick movements. But as he continued, something remarkable became apparent. Every movement served multiple purposes. A simple stick strike contained within it a disarm, a lock, a strike to 3 different targets, and a transition to empty hand techniques. What looked basic was actually a compressed fighting system, where economy of motion was the sophistication. He demonstrated how a single angle of attack, one basic stick swing, contained within it 12 different applications, depending on the opponent's response. He showed how the basic figure 8 pattern that Master Lu had dismissed was actually a flowing system that seamlessly integrated weapon and empty hand, high and low attacks, offense and defense in the same motion. Then Rafael did something that made every master in the room lean forward. He had Guru Manuel attack him with predetermined sequences, and Rafael demonstrated how Filipino martial arts didn't fight style against style. They adapted to the opponent's system. When Guru Manuel attacked with Kung Fu-style strikes, Rafael's response integrated Kung Fu principles, but filtered through Filipino timing and angling. The system didn't oppose the opponent's art. It absorbed and redirected it. But the moment that truly shocked Master Lu came when Rafael explained the concept of defanging the snake, a principle so central to Filipino martial arts that it revealed a completely different fighting philosophy than what Master Lu had spent 50 years studying in Kung Fu. Rafael said respectfully, "You perfect your techniques, make your forms beautiful, cultivate internal energy to make your body powerful. This is sophisticated and takes great dedication." He paused. Filipino martial arts developed differently. We didn't have the luxury of temples and decades of peaceful practice. Our ancestors fought constantly against each other, against colonizers, for survival. We learned something direct. Don't fight the opponent's strength. Destroy their ability to use it. He demonstrated. When Guru Manuel threw a Kung Fu punch, Rafael didn't block it traditionally. He struck the attacking arm itself with his stick, not just hitting it, but targeting specific points that made the arm temporarily unusable. We call it defanging the snake. Don't fight the whole snake. Take away its fangs. Don't fight the whole opponent. Take away their weapons, their arms, their legs, their structure, their base. He showed how Filipino martial arts had developed incredible sophistication in reading and controlling the opponent's center of gravity, their balance, their structural integrity, not through years of forms practice, but through continuous pressure testing in real combat situations. Then Rafael demonstrated something that made Master Lu's eyes widen. He showed how the basic stick patterns contained hidden empty hand techniques, locks, throws, chokes, all disguised within the weapon movements. The stick was actually teaching fighting principles that transferred to any situation, any weapon or no weapon. The sophistication wasn't in the complexity of the forms. It was in the depth of principles that could be applied infinitely. You said Filipino martial arts lack internal cultivation, Rafael continued. But we have something different. We call it sensitivity training, developing the ability to feel the opponent's intention through contact, to read their energy and intent without thinking. May I demonstrate? Master Lu, now genuinely curious rather than dismissive, agreed. Rafael had him grab his wrist. Then, with barely visible movement, Rafael demonstrated how Filipino martial arts had developed extraordinary sensitivity, the ability to feel and respond to the slightest change in pressure, tension, or weight distribution. Master Lu tried to move in various ways, and before he could complete any technique, Rafael was already responding not through speed or strength, but through feeling the motion the instant it began. The room was completely silent now. This wasn't what they expected from basic stick fighting. Rafael continued, "You said we lack philosophy and spiritual dimension, but we have lakas ang loob, a Filipino concept meaning spiritual courage, the internal strength that comes not from meditation in temples, but from facing real danger and finding calm within chaos. Our philosophy wasn't written in temples. It was lived in jungles, on beaches, in moments of life and death. Is this less sophisticated because it wasn't documented in ancient texts?" He demonstrated the Filipino concept of flow, moving continuously from weapon to weapon, long range to close range, standing to ground, one opponent to multiple opponents, all without pause or thought. The sophistication was in the seamless adaptability, not in the complexity of individual techniques. What happened next broke the internet and changed how traditional Asian martial arts communities viewed Filipino martial arts. Master Lu did something extraordinary. He bowed deeply to Rafael, the traditional bow of a martial artist acknowledging another master, and said in front of all the assembled masters, "I judged without understanding. I saw simplicity and assumed lack of depth. But I see now that your martial arts chose efficiency over elaboration, principle over pattern, adaptation over tradition. This is not basic. This is a different kind of mastery, perhaps more difficult, because there are no forms to hide behind, no patterns to memorize, only understanding and instant application." The video of that exchange went viral within days, viewed over 80 million times across social media. But more importantly, it sparked a revolution. Major kung fu schools in China began inviting Filipino instructors to teach seminars on sensitivity training and adaptive principles. Japanese karate masters started incorporating Filipino weapons training, Korean Taekwondo schools began studying Filipino footwork and angling. The martial arts world began recognizing that Filipino martial arts, developed through centuries of actual combat necessity, had achieved a different kind of sophistication. The sophistication of maximum efficiency, adaptation, and principle-based learning rather than form-based memorization. True martial depth isn't always visible in elaborate forms. Sometimes it's hidden in elegant simplicity, waiting for those open to learning.